Hey, I'm Elizabeth Esther from ElizabethEsther.com. I'm the author of Girl at the End of the World.
Hi, my name is David Leo Schultz. I'm the director of the movie Ragamuffin.
Hey, I'm Drew Hart, and my blog is now going to be actually hosted over at Christian Century. It's a new thing under the name Taking Jesus Seriously.
Hi, Mary DeMuth. I've written over a dozen books. I'm also a podcaster.
Hi, my name is Tony Kriz, author of Neighbors and Wise Men, and an upcoming book called Aloof.
I'm Grace from GraceSandra.com.
How's it going? My name's Kurt Willems. I'm a church planter, pastor, author.
I think a show like Seminary Dropout is valuable because you can show up as you are, kind of a mess, rollers in your hair, glasses, crazy, and Shane digs right in. He gets below the surface. He asks those hard questions. It's smart, it's funny, it's thorough. We need his independent voice out there. Please support him.
I would really appreciate it if you would support my friend Shane and his podcast, Seminary Dropout. I think it's extremely valuable for us to support things like this, and specifically Shane's podcast, because there's not a lot of outlets out there that provide kind of an inside look into some pretty cool things that are happening on the outskirts of life and ministry and art. And I think Shane's podcast provides an opportunity to actually have some real talk and authenticity into to kind of what's going on in these different areas.
Seminary Dropout is a really valuable, and I think so because Shane is able to pull together dynamite interviews with great guests that are leading really important conversations for the church. He asks really thoughtful questions, provocative questions, and honestly, the dialogue that takes place on the show kind of always leaves you wanting a little bit more. So I really encourage you to support Seminary Dropout.
I believe Seminary Dropout is important because Shane is a great question asker. He doesn't come to an interview with a preconceived idea of what he wants to hear. He just is curious and asks awesome questions. So please support him. Thanks.
I have been a contributor and fan of Seminary Dropout from the very first episode. I think a show like this is really important. Shane uniquely is a purveyor of shalom around ideas, as opposed to the fight over ideas. Shane is the sort of person who creates space for people to talk about things that are important to them, that are true to their hearts, and that's why I think a show like this should be supported.
And I want to take a few moments to tell you about my friend Shane. Shane Blackshear is a podcaster extraordinaire. I'll tell you what, his podcast, The Seminary Dropout, is one that I almost never miss. He's had so many excellent guests on there, from yours truly, of course, but also people I really admire. Even recently got to hear an interview, which is rare, with Michael Gungor. So this guy has some great content to offer us who are trying to figure out what it means to follow Jesus in a post-Christian world. And so I just wanted to wholeheartedly recommend it. I want to say this is one of the cutting-edge podcasts that you're going to find. Seminary Dropout. Don't miss it. Check it out. And you know what? I don't think you're going to be sorry, because there are just so many people who are hungry for a kingdom that looks more and more like Jesus and a lot less like the Christendom model that we inherited. And people like Shane are making that voice get heard. And so I hope you'll listen to that voice, and maybe you'll even find that the Holy Spirit is part of that tugging nudge as you listen to some of these episodes that push you into mission, push you into community, and push you into the life of God.
You want to know why you should support Seminary Dropout? Because it's effing amazeballs. That's why. Because Shane is amazing. The show is amazing. Shane is like the best question asker ever. He gets to the heart of the matter. It's interesting. It will inspire you. I was a guest on the show. I did pretty well, if I do say so myself. And there's a bunch of other really cool people too. Support the show, show some love, give Shane some love. Let's make it happen.
Hey everyone. If you're watching this, then you probably know that I'm Shane Blackshear, the host of Seminary Dropout. I'm here in the very room where Seminary Dropout is recorded, otherwise known as Margot's Nursery. See, there's Margot's Nursery. Can you believe that I have such amazing friends and how much they believe in Seminary Dropout? I cannot. A little bit about Patreon. Patreon is kind of like Kickstarter, but instead of funding one big project, it's funding for ongoing projects like a podcast. So if you believe in Seminary Dropout, like the former guests who just spoke do, I would ask you to consider giving to the show. Even if you can only give 25 cents per episode, that really makes a difference over time. Remember, Seminary Dropout is still completely free. It's your choice if you want to become a patron of the show or not. So, thank you in advance, and I'll see you next time on the next episode of Seminary Dropout.